Shalom, and welcome back to Bnei Noach Academy, Thoughts on the Torah. Please remember to hit the like button, to subscribe, and most importantly, to share this insight and inspiration with friends and family. So I'm certain that you are certain that you know his name, his real name. Who am I talking about? Well, perhaps one of the most important figures in the entire history of the world. In fact, his name appears all the time in the Torah. Of course, Moses. So you're certain, as I was, that that's his name. That was his original / real name. After all, that's how we know him. We don't know him by any other name. Well, you know that besides the 5 books of the Torah and the rest of the Tanakh, the Bible, we also have a very significant part of the Torah, and that is the oral tradition. Part of the oral tradition is the Midrash. The Midrash is almost like, if I may, the story from behind the scenes. Now, how do we know that it's true and authentic? Well, of course, just like the Torah, it's been passed down from generation to generation, and it can go all the way back to the original source, the same source as the written word, that is Sinai, Moshe, coming from God. Well, the Midrash tells us that, in fact, when Moshe was born, his parents named him, like any parents would do. They named their child. His first name, his main name, was Yekutiel, which means hope for God, or the one who hopes for God, or the one who brings hope in God. When did his name change? How did it become Moshe? How and why does that override the name that his parents gave him? Well, let's take a look inside the actual verse in the Torah. You look in the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verse 19, and it tells us that after Moshe was nursed and miraculously was by his own mother, he now went back to be raised by the woman who saved his life. And she called him Moshe, because Moshe comes from the etymology of the word, which means to extract, to pull out. And since she pulled him out from the water, she gave him that name. That was her point of reference, basically, from where he came from. She didn't know where he was born from. She found out a long time later. But at that point, all she knew is this child came from the water. She extracted him. She found him by the water. She pulled him out from the water. She saved his life. And that's the reason for the name Moshe, Moses. The Torah teaches us a phenomenal lesson here. The importance of gratitude, the importance of showing appreciation. I mean, his parents brought him into the world, like all parents do. They're the one who gave him life. But she saved his life. You see, the fact that his parents brought him into the world and gave him life, that's natural. That's normal. But the fact that she went out of her way, perhaps even at the time because of the edict, because of the decree that her father had set as a rule, that you're not allowed to save the children. In fact, you have to kill the boys, especially the Jewish boys. She was actually endangering her life. And she did so to save his life. That is something which deserves recognition. One must say thank you in the best, greatest, and loudest way possible. Thus, the Torah teaches us that from that point on, no one even knows, unless you read this, so to speak, obscure midrash, this little reference hidden somewhere in the oral law, just a few lines, you would never know. You would never have even a hint that his name was anything other than Moshe. But the verse says it clearly. Now that you go back to the verse, it says she called him Moshe, and she gave the reason for why she called him Moshe, and that's all we know him by. We know him as Moshe. So this is an important lesson. Be grateful. Be appreciative for all those people that do good for you. People who go even slightly out of their way. How much more so when they go extremely out of their way to do something for you, to help you, to assist you. Make sure that you express your gratitude. And of course, it comes without saying, God does so much for us. We certainly should spend time every day expressing our thanks, our gratitude for his greatness, for his graciousness, for his kindness.